Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. All right, today I want to talk about you're getting ready to address the ball and you get into your dress. And everybody has what we call a routine, a walk-in routine. And there's two types of problems that can exist once you've set your club, you've got your grip, and especially you've set your body and everything else. There's two problems that can start messing up your grip and therefore then your posture, your muscle tone, and mess up the swing. The first one is what we call re-gripping. Re-gripping is you have a grip and you see those folks, their grip's pretty good, and at the last second it's like their trigger, where some people trigger that, which you know I don't like that either. I want you to stop from a dead stop. They're going to go boom like that, and then as they do it, the last second part of their takeaway is they change their grip. In most cases it's always the top hand, left or righty, going to the right and getting strong, and maybe even the right one might do it. And then they're re-gripping it, and sometimes in that re-grip, they don't really totally have their grip, and they already have the club moving and their body starting to move. So now their grip's not getting totally set to there. That one is a big one because it causes a lot more problems. Today I want to talk about one I just call milking the club. That's you got the grip, and you just stand here, and you might wiggle your fingers, you might just loosen the grip a little bit, but you don't ever change anything and when you finally go, you take off. But you've never changed your position of your hands, but you're just fooling with your pressures and maybe wiggling fingers now and then. Now you might say, what's the deal with that? So you didn't change your grip. Yeah, but you've changed your pressures, and maybe you've been moving your fingers. And again, like the re-grip, you could possibly be starting your swing when a finger's not on the club yet, and then now it's re-gripping it, and it can change the overall muscle tone of say your fingers, your palm, and even your forearm sometimes. So that's not even that good. So I want to tell you a story real quick of how I was a milker. I've never been a re-gripper, but I was a milker when I turned pro. And the very first tournament I played in, which was the winter of 1974, or 75, one of those 2 years, the very first tournament I'm playing in is a North Florida PGA, or back at the time it was only Florida. They didn't turn to North Florida till later. It was a Florida PGA section tournament, which any golf pros that were in Florida that were PGA members could play in them. And I entered it right away, and I was working for a man named Bobby Tomlinson, in Jacksonville Beach, and I met Bobby somewhere somehow, and I was working up in New York, and I come down in the winter time, and he said I need extra help in the winter because they're getting a lot of people. So I went to work for him. So it might have even been 75 or 76. Anyways, that's my first professional tournament. I get paired with a gentleman by the name of Billy Maxwell. And Bobby says to me when the parents come out, "Hey, you're playing with Billy." And I said, "Really?" I said, "I know that name. Didn't he play the tour for a while?" And he said, "Yeah, man, he was a really good player." And I mean, I guess we can say he was really, really good. I can't tell off the top of my head if he's in the Hall of Fame, but I do know this: at the time, he was a Wilson Staff member, and there's Wilson Staff clubs, which was the top of the line. Then you had Sam Snead Blue Ridges, right? We all know who Sam Snead is. And then we had Billy Casper's. We all know who Billy Casper is. He's in the Hall of Fame. And then they had, like I said, Sam Snead signatures, Billy Casper's signatures, and then they had Billy Maxwell. He had his own set of golf clubs for Wilson. So that means I think he was no doubt. He was really a good player. But anyways, back to the story. So we walked down to the range that day, the first round, and Billy's on the range hitting, and there's a spot right behind him. So Bobby says, "Hey, jump in there," and he introduces me to Billy Maxwell. And I said, "Hey, Mr. Maxwell, how you doing?" And because he's retired, so I mean he's definitely my senior. So and we start talking. He asked me a couple questions, and so I start hitting, and then he starts hitting. Every now and then I could see him turn around. He'd talk to me and say something. But this one time I'm standing here and I'm getting ready to hit, and I can sense him moving from where he usually stood and kind of coming closer and closer to over here to me, but not get directly behind me. I was a milker. Milking means I just move my hands. I just change my grip pressure, my fingers. I might flick a finger like this or whatever and things, but I'm not changing my grip. Well, I'm here like this, all right, and all of a sudden, I'm milking, waggling and milking. All of a sudden, bam! His club comes down. A club comes down and smacks the grip right there, right, just about that far from my bottom finger on my right hand, and naturally, man, I just jump up, and it's like, whoo, what happened? And here's Mr. Maxwell. He's now coming a little closer to me. He's holding his club just like this because that's how he smacked me. And he gets right there and he puts it like right up near my nose and he says, boy, I'm going to tell you one time and one time only. If I ever catch you milking that club again, I'm not going to miss your fingers the next time. He says, you hear me, boy? You hear me? You got me? No more milking. I said, yes, sir. Okay? Yes, sir, Mr. Maxwell. And I can say to you today, I have not milked since that day, at that moment in time. I have never milked the club again. And why do I not do it? Because ultimately it's the best thing. If you have set your once I go up in here, I set my grip at about 60%, 50 to 60% of the firmness I'm going to have when I swing. And I come down, I walk in, I come down, and then I'm just going right here like this once I come down. But at some point, after a couple waggles, I'm going to come to a dead stop. When that club comes to a dead stop, 3 things happen. As fast as I can say, bing, bing, bing. I set my grip pressure to the full pressure, which means from here, I call what I call going into lockdown from the fingertips right up to just under my elbow. I go into lockdown. At the second that happens, lockdown, boom, the knees go into wide knees, outward pressure. Boom, and then the club starts. I mean, it starts probably in a 1/10 of a second. All those things happen in a row. But they always happen when I've come from a full stop. I go to a full stop. Nothing's moving. All right? Why do I believe that? Because 0 is 0. It never changes. I don't like starting with a forward press of the club or the forward press of the body or anything. Because you can never do that the same amount of distance or force or whatever, and then the takeaway, it can never be the same. And as the situation gets tougher, the clubs get longer, the pressure gets greater if you're playing in a tournament or just trying to shoot a good score or whatever. All of that can't last. But 0 is 0. So now it means, now your brain knows exactly what to do to tell every muscle exactly what to do, when to do, and how to do it. In other words, when to start exactly at the same time, because it never changes, because you always start from 0. Right? So if you want to play better golf, leave the milking to the guys who have the cows to get us the milk that we drink. Don't milk your golf club. And certainly don't regrip your club, but I'll deal with that in another time on another daily. All right, because that's a whole different subject. So solid grip pressure when you start the whole body and start to swing from 0. All right, but that's the key for today. Set that grip, keep that grip, and you will see you'll be have better control of the club and be hitting it more solid and straight and hitting those and shooting those lower scores. That's it for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.